وآل محمد.
Ahsantum, Brother Muhammad Ali. Inshallah, before we split up into our two groups, every night we've been doing Labbaika Ya Hussein, right? Can someone remind me what does Labbaika Ya Hussein mean? Yes. What does it mean? Labbaik, when we say Labbaika Ya Hussein means? Yes, sister. What was that? We're here, right? We're telling Imam Hussein, here we are. Imam Hussein, you've called upon us, here we are at your masjid. So with that being said, I'd like to invite from our dear brother Qasim and our dear brother Basil, inshallah, for the Labbaika Ya Hussein ceremony, we're going to call it. Let's send them 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
لبيك يا حسين. لبيك يا حسين. لبيك يا حسين.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. So at this point in time, we will split into our 2 groups. So those ages 6 to 9, you're going to follow Sister Sukaina in the back for the sisters.
Smith, are you coming with us?
Brother Rasul, inshallah. And then the rest of the brothers, let's get our lines fixed up. Brothers, let's get our lines. Come on, sit. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers, closer. Let's be like almost shoulder to shoulder. None of us bite, I hope. I know I don't bite. And sister, if you can make your lines uniform as well. Inshallah, tonight we have a guest speaker, Brother Adam al-Maliki, and he will be with us inshallah tonight. So please help me welcome Brother Adam after 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد
وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
You don't keep this stand here for now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us the ability to gather today. Some people don't get the opportunity to wake up in the morning, like the people across the world, and over here too. Sometimes your day is up, and when your day is up, that's it. That's when God calls you. So, like the brother Tfaddal, the one who did the dua, Ahsant man, Ashirek. Like in that dua, when we were in sujood, we thanked God for everything that He gave us. But there's a question that I think a lot of us have in our minds, and that has to do with, why do we do this whole Muharram? Like, okay, sure, Imam al-Hussein, of course, the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was slaughtered, he was martyred on the day in the land of Karbala, on the day of Ashura. But like, one and done, man, come on, every single year, for 1400 years now, like, what's the deal? Have you not gotten over it? Relax a little bit. That's what a lot of people might think. And I had the same question as well. What's the point? Why are we doing this? What is the wisdom behind Muharram? Well, insha'Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the answer in the Quran. But before we do, let us hear a loud salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Okay, so I don't know who has a Quran or who doesn't have a Quran, but you know what? I'm pretty sure all of you have phones, right? And inshallah you have a phone app on your phone, okay? Or a Quran app on your phone. So what I want you all to do is to pull up the Quran and go to Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 170. So go for it, do it right now. I'll wait for you. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 170. Pull it up. If you have an actual Quran, go to page 26. It's the first ayah on the very top.
I got it.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's see what this ayah tells us. I'll just give it one more time. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 170. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذا قيل لهم اتبعوا ما أنزل الله قالوا بل نتبع ما أفينا عليه آباءنا أولو كان آباؤهم لا يعقلون شيئا ولا يهتدون صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So what does this verse mean? Well, let's see. When they are told, follow what Allah has sent down, they say no. We will follow what we have found our fathers following. What? Even though their fathers did not exercise the reason or were even guided. For us to understand this ayah, we need to look at the surrounding history. So back in the time of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was the time of Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance. I don't know if we really understand these days, but 1400 years ago, that's a long time ago. And the people back then are nowhere close to how we are today. complete 180 degrees. Like these people literally knew nothing. People didn't know about gravity. There's no such thing as like science or whatever this, like chemistry. There's no such thing. All this stuff is just so spiritual. People back in those days, they used to worship rocks, like literal stones. Like go outside, you see the concrete outside of Islamic House of Wisdom. Go like break a little bit of the rock and start worshiping it. It's your God now. That's what people used to do back in those days. They didn't know any better. Honestly, you can't really say you can't blame them because they were guided. They had other prophets, but they were that low. Okay? So when Nabi Muhammad came, he came to give them the light of knowledge, give them the light of Islam. Like to bring them from this animal level of knowledge to a more human level of knowledge. One of the traits of these people was that they were tribal. Tribal means that they're kind of in packs. You know wolves? You usually find them as a group of, let's say a pack, a family, a group of wolves. Together they go hunting. Now if one of those wolves, I don't know if this is actually true, but let's go with it. If one of those wolves maybe tries something different than the group, they might want to find another deer somewhere else. They want to go on their own, become the lone wolf. They get ostracized by their family. That's a big word. What does it mean? The rest of the family will try and attack them, will try and push them out. Hey, what are you trying to do becoming different than the family? Get out of here. Trying to be different? No, buddy. You work how your father told you to work. You work how we as a family work together. You don't go and become something different. The people in Nabi Muhammad's time, they were tribal. They were like in families, and they had their own name brand. Okay? Like the Supremes, the Gucci tribe. They had their own little groups of people. Okay? And they're always fighting with each other. Now when Nabi Muhammad came, it was very difficult for him to try and educate them because Nabi Muhammad is so much different than them. He has the knowledge of Islam. He doesn't worship rocks like they do. Right? So they hated him. Their eyes burning. What this ayah over here is telling us, that these people, they didn't want to listen to Nabi Muhammad. When Nabi Muhammad told them, hey, Islam, man, don't worship a rock. You're better than that. They're like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna do what my family tells me to do. Like that group of wolves, just go with the flow. Don't ask questions. That's it. That tribal mentality, that blind following, is what these people used to do. Okay, what's the big deal? Why is that a problem? Well, number one, because they're not with the truth. They're worshiping idols, they've denied the truth. That's wrong by itself. But don't they say that ignorance is bliss? Who cares if they're ignorant and not knowledgeable of Islam? Like, okay, fine. Well, the issue is, brothers and sisters, is that these people, with their ignorance, do terrible things. Imagine the family, I don't know, let's not say the Supreme tribe, let's say Beni whatever, Beni Fulan tribe. They don't like females. A girl? Ugh, disgusting. That's what Beni Fulan says. And you know what they do? They bury their daughters. Yeah, it's in the Quran. Look at it. Historically speaking, these tribes killed their daughters because they were embarrassed. Like seriously? That you couldn't go any lower than that. When you follow what your father did, this is gonna keep on going. The racism, imagine killing a group of people just because they look weird to you. And if you are tribal, if you just follow what your father said, and you never think for yourself, you might do the same thing. And so that's why it's a problem to be ignorant. That's why it's important for the people that were around Nabi Muhammad to accept Islam. Another reason why ignorance is wrong is because these people at the time of Nabi Muhammad, they're literally not humans. They're not even people. Like, come on. When you practically worship your father, you do whatever your father says, you don't think for yourself, you're blindly following him, you're not a human anymore. You're not even using your mind. Like, you're nothing more than just some robot. What are you? What's the difference between you and that wolf who just goes with the pack? Our minds, brothers and sisters, is the only thing that separates us from animals. We might not be the biggest creatures, we might not be the strongest creatures, the fastest, but you know what? We're the smartest. And that's why we've conquered the entire world. Because of our brain. I don't see no animal making massive skyscrapers in the air and literally declaring the world their own. We're doing that because our head, our mind, it's a superpower, a super weapon, a nuclear bomb compared to these creatures. So when they don't use their minds, they become like a cow. Just moo, going with the pack, you know. A pack of sheep, you know, don't be a sheep. Yeah, they're being a sheep right now. Okay, enough of disgracing these people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed these literally dumb people. And it's not my words, it's in the Quran. Summun bukmun umyun fahum la ya'qilun. They are deaf, dumb, and blind. And they don't exercise their reason. Like, Allah is cursing these people at their ignorance. Why is Allah cursing them? This is a main point right now. Allah is cursing them because they're not using their brain. They're just blindly following. This is a big point. In today's culture, we see actor Fulan. We see TikTok, superstar, billion, majillion views. I don't even have TikTok, so what do they have? Like subscribers? I don't know. Trust me, I'm not that old, hopefully. People are practically worshiping these YouTube stars, these TikTok stars. They're worshiping them. You go to like, I don't know, what are they don't call them Haji anymore, right? No, they call them, I don't know what they call these TikTok stars, but they're like, oh, you know, TikTok, Bob Wilson told me that I should eat Tide Pods. And they don't even use their head, and they eat it, they get poisoned, and they die. So they become like the sheep back in the time of Nabi Muhammad because they don't even use their head. But there's a fear, brothers and sisters, a real fear. When it comes to Muharram and us doing latam and doing these jalsat over here where everybody comes together, are we being sheep too? That's a real question. Are we also blindly following what our fathers, what our mother and father used to do? Oh, my mother told me to go to Islamic House of Wisdom today, so that's why I'm here. What's the difference then between me and the people back in those days who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed? Is Muharram logical, or is it just some like weird cultural tradition thing that we're just doing because our fathers, our parents told us to do it? Well, if that was the case, then that's a problem. Because if we don't use our head, then God will curse us. We'll become deaf, dumb, and blind like these weirdos back in those days. Alhamdulillah, no, we're not weirdos, okay? So that's the answer right now. We're not weirdos. But why? What is the wisdom behind commemorating Imam al-Hussein every single year? What's the point? Like, it's been 1400 years. Like, come on, are you not over it? Like, what's the deal? Well, the deal is 5 reasons. The first reason, we're forgetful creatures. I almost forgot the word forgetful. How many times have you been asked, oh, what did you eat yesterday? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to think a little bit. What did I eat yesterday? I don't even know what I ate for lunch today. Alhamdulillah, I have food on the table. But my point is that we are very, very forgetful. Like, I had to learn the quadratic formula like 1 billion times until I finally got it right. It's what? I think, negative b? Plus or minus? You know what? I already forgot. The point is that we're already super duper forgetful. When we go to the Ashura tent, alhamdulillah, we have all these places. Islamic House of Wisdom, Mainstay, Islamic Center of America, Islamic Institute of America. What else do we have? Kada kada. And we listen to, oh, brother Fulan is giving a lecture about, oh, why do we do Muharram? By the time I'm now 20 years old, a year from now, well, what were the 5 reasons again? I completely forgot. Why am I doing this Muharram thing again? Guys, we forget the lessons we learned in Muharram, so we need a reminder. That's why we have this yearly, okay? So we can keep drilling our head and make sure we don't forget the good lessons that we're learning every Muharram. I want to tell you the story of the people of Nabi Musa. It's actually insane what these people did, genuinely. They were running away from a massive army that wanted to kill them, wanted to murder them. And this is not like guns, it's just like massive swords. They like stab you in the stomach, and it's disgusting, it's horrible. And they turn you into slaves if they capture you. Like, it's life and death. We're not like sitting in the house all cozy. No, these people are running for their lives. And what ends up happening, they're running, and this army is behind them, and they're stopped at a dead end. What to do? There's a massive river right in front of us. We're cornered, and this massive army wants to spill our guts on the floor. Nabi Musa was with them. What did he do? He performed a miracle. The literal river split, okay? The river split, and they could walk through the river. Imagine the Detroit River over here, and you just have like this massive like split, and you can just walk on the bottom of the river or lake or whatever it is. And then they walked through, and when the army came following them, the river collapsed on them, and they all died, as they should. And the people of Nabi Musa, they're like, hooray, we've lived. He saved us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the Lord. And what happened a couple days later? They started worshiping a cow or like some weird like animal. Like, seriously? Come on, man. Like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just saved you from this army that was about to murder you. And now you're back to like worshiping a cow or some animal or whatever you're following? A calf? A golden calf, apparently. Wait, was it? I don't know. Whatever they followed. It's like they completely forgot about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So our yearly gatherings here in Muharram, inshallah, keeps us away from becoming like calf worshippers. Hopefully it's not that extreme, but you get my point. The second reason, it reminds us of who our enemy is. I don't know if any of you know about Machiavelli. He's like this big dude who wrote a book called The Prince, and he talks about ways, how can you get power? How can you conquer the world? Right? And he says one of the best ways to conquer the world is to be born as the prince. You don't have to do anything. You're already chilling in the palace. You're already the king of the nation. You're good. It's like other empires where the son becomes the next prince. Rahmallah wa dhak. La'natullah alayhum ajma'in. Because when you imagine a massive lineage where this person's son and this person's son and this person's son and so on and so forth become the whatever ruler, the prince of a nation, at some point after some generations, and I'm born and it's like Prince John the billionth, at some point it seems natural, like this is how life is supposed to be. Like there's no other alternative. And I don't really feel the urge, even if like Prince Bob Wilson the 8th is oppressing me and he's killing all of my children, you know, he's already the 8th. It's just that's how things are. And so sometimes, brothers and sisters, we might forget who the enemy is in our time. We might become complicit. We might become okay with oppression. So in our majalis and Muharram, we learn the enemy is Yazid, back 1400 years ago. But we also learn that the enemy is our nafs, our ego, our greed. We learn who the enemy is in Muharram. It reminds us that, hey, you should probably watch your ego. That's what Imam al-Hussein would tell us. And so in our majalis in Muharram, we would learn to fight against these oppressors. The second reason, these majalis in Muharram, they show us or remind us that, hey, don't just submit yourself to these enemies. Don't just chill out. No, you have Prince whatever the billionth, he's oppressing you. You have ego, fight it, destroy it. Don't sit down and submit, go on the floor like those people back in Imam al-Hussein's time who didn't stand up with him. All right, the third reason. We'll be wrapping up here shortly, inshallah. These majalis motivate us. When we hear about Ali al-Akbar, when he says that death to me, serving you, O Hussein, is sweeter than honey, how powerful is that? This young man has no problem fighting face to face with people who want to murder him. Like I'm telling you, these are swords. Like there's no joke. It's not you're like shooting a person from 1,000 yards away and you don't even see them. It just happens in an instant. No, this is real. Okay? And Ali al-Akbar had no problem with that. That's motivation. If Ali al-Akbar can do that, we can do the same. So when we come in these majalis and we learn about the stories of Imam al-Hussein going against these massive army, 30,000, huge size, the odds are 100% not in his favor. And Imam al-Hussein technically in the long run still won. That is motivating. We can aspire to become like these leaders. The fourth reason. I don't know if many of the young ones heard or are too familiar with the war that happened in Iraq when ISIS came and invaded and almost took over the capital of Iraq and completely like became barbarians and murdered everybody. Who stopped ISIS? Some would say Hashd al-Sha'bi. I agree with them. But I would Hussein every year because he reminds us of who our enemies are. We commemorate Imam al-Hussein every single year because he gives us bravery, courage, and motivation. We commemorate Imam al-Hussein every single year because it jumpstarts the community back in action. All these people whizzing around, doing all kinds of beautiful things. And lastly, we commemorate Imam al-Hussein every year because it brings the ummah together, unites us. With that, I unfortunately don't have the big horn. That sounded really cool, by the way, Shabab. Thank you for that. But how about this? Let's have a loud لبيك يا حسين.
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 أحسنتم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
So brothers, at this point, let's get into our lines for Laqmiya and Majlis. We've been doing that every night, so we should know how it's done by now, right?
I heard that. I can't wait for the
Free snacks, bro.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Me too.
Go there.
I love how everyone got up and got into their lines, especially from the brothers, right? Thank you for all getting. Yalla guys, get into your lines, man. Oh my God. Yalla, yalla, yalla. We make it like the U shape, right? The elders,
I'm bored.
please help the younger ones in doing this. And then we're waiting for the younger ones to join us. Inshallah, we'll do the Latmiya then. While we're waiting, guys, one of the interesting things is yesterday we spoke about Qasim, correct? Our majlis was about Qasim, the son of Imam Hassan. What was one of the, or actually 2 nights ago we spoke about Qasim. What was one of the things that Imam Hassan was very much well known for? Does anyone know? Imam Hassan, what's one of his titles? Something Ahlul Bayt. He is the blank of Ahlul Bayt. Blank of Ahlul Bayt. Anyone have any idea? Kareem of Ahlul Bayt. So he was the most generous of the Ahlul Bayt. We have narrations that say like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 times. Imam Hassan, a poor person comes and says, you know, Imam Hassan, I need some help. And he gives everything that he has, his house, his money, this, that, everything he gives in the way of, towards that person. Yes, in the way of Allah. But 2 or 3 times, have you ever heard of someone saying like, oh, you know, there's someone saying, I need help financially, I need a meal, and then they're like, you know what, take my house, take my clothes, take my money, take this, take that. Never heard of it, right? So Qasim is the son of the Kareem of Ahlul Bayt. We've been talking about how to be servants of Allah. We said, how do we become a servant of Allah? By doing service to the Ahlul Bayt. Ahsantum sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. So one of the ways that we do service to the Ahlul Bayt, we said, for example, we come to the majlis, we recite the Ziyarat Ashura, we listen to the majlis, we do the Latmiya, we remember them. Another thing we said was that we help support the majlis, right? So that means, for example, you come, you see that the shoes aren't put neatly, you put them neatly in the shoe rack, or you see, you know, a Twix on the floor, you grab that Twix and you throw it in the garbage. Or, for example, we said, oh, you want to bring something, you make something at home to give to the lovers of Ahlul Bayt. We said, for example, when people walk from, what 2 cities in Arba'in? They walk from Najaf to Karbala. We said there are people that, you know, they have these big tents and they give food, massages, this, that. They're like, please come into my houses. Other people, they have nothing, right? So there are some people that just say, you know what, all I can provide for you is shade. right? They're like, I don't have any money for this. In fact, I saw a video today, and the person, they were doing an interview, and he's like, wait, you only have this one shirt? So yeah, the only shirt I have in my closet is this, the one that I'm wearing, and I'm using it to serve Imam Hussein. So we have the people who give everything that they have towards the Ahlul Bayt. One thing that I want all of us to do, inshallah, tonight, is on your way out, when we're completely done, we're going to give you a paper. Okay, it's what we call a pledge card. I want you to show that pledge card to your parents, that they can sponsor one of the events that we have here. Sponsor one of the events. One of the things that we recommend is you become a member of the masjid, meaning that, look, for example, there are 14 Ma'asumeen. I want to donate $14 to the masjid to help keep the message of Imam Hussein going. So inshallah, and alive, yes. So inshallah, when we give you that paper, also on that pledge card it says Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which means you cannot throw it out. Okay, so I better not see any in the garbage can. Inshallah, tomorrow you bring those filled out, and guess what? This connection for someone to support the majlis of Imam Hussein. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Oh man, that was not really good. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So let's, okay. If we can get the lights dimmed for the majlis, inshallah.
While we get ready, there's just one important sentence I wanted to mention to everybody. This was literally the most important sentence, so I can't believe how I forgot it, but I guess you can see that we're very easily forgetting. The point of this entire thing, if you were to take one thing from this whole 30-minute deal, is that our religion, Islam, everything has wisdom to it. Even if we don't know the wisdom, Allah has a reason. That's all. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Salamun ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn wa ala On this night, our majlis pertains to Ali al-Akbar, the eldest son of Imam Hussein. On the night and the day of Ashura, many of our scholars give sadaqah for the protection of Imam al-Zaman. And that is because the Imam sees the reality of these tragedies. Ya Sahib al-Zaman. All together. Ya Sahib al-Zaman. Ya Sahib. Has written in his Nuhuf, خرج علي بن الحسين عليه السلام. When the companions were all killed and no one was left for the family of Imam al-Hussein, Ali al-Akbar comes out of his tent. Here he describes him, وَكَانَ مِنْ أَصْبَحِ النَّاسِ وَجْهًا وَأَحْسَنِهِمْ خُلْقًا. Ali al-Akbar was the most handsome and the most well-mannered among the people. He came to Imam al-Hussein to ask permission to enter the battlefield. Do you remember what we said about Qasim? We said when Qasim asked about Imam al-Hussein for permission to fight, the Imam refused. Qasim began then to kiss the hands and the feet of Abu Abdullah until he finally accepted. But what did the Imam do when Ali al-Akbar asked for permission to enter the battle? فاستأذن أباه في القتال فأذن له. Once he asked his father Imam Hussein for permission, he accepted. ثم نظر إليه نظر آيس منه وأرخى عينه وبكى. Then Imam al-Hussein looked towards Ali al-Akbar with a look of despair. Tears began flowing in the eyes of our Imam. Ya Hussein, these are your final soldiers. لما توجه إلى الحرب. When Ali al-Akbar started to get ready for the battle, اجتمعت النساء حوله كالحلقة. The women gathered around him, they encircled him, they don't want him to go. What are they saying? ارحم غربتنا, O Ali al-Akbar, have mercy on our loneliness. ولا تستعجل إلى القتال, don't hurry towards the battlefield. فإنه ليس لنا طاقة في فراقك. Indeed, we cannot endure separation from you. Then Imam Hussein called out, اللهم أشهد فقد برز إليهم غلام أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا برسولك. Oh Allah, witness that a young man went towards the enemy whose face, whose character, and whose speech was the most similar to your Prophet. Whenever we miss your Prophet, we would look towards Ali al-Akbar. Ali al-Akbar hasn't even begun fighting, and Imam Hussein calls out, O son of Sa'ad, Ya ibn Sa'ad, قطع الله رحمك كما قطعت رحمي. Imam Hussein calls out, O son of Sa'ad, may Allah cut your family just as you cut my family. فتقدم نحو القوم. Ali al-Akbar came into the battlefield. He fought a valiant fight and he killed a great mass of people. ثم رجع إلى أبيه. Ali al-Akbar returns to his father Imam al-Hussein. فقال يا أبتي العطش قد قتلني. يا أبتي العطش قد قتلني وثقل الحديد قد أجهدني. Oh father, the thirst is killing me and the weight of the armor has fatigued me. فهل إلى شربة من الماء سبيل? Is there any sip of water left for me to drink? فبكى الحسين. The Imam began to cry. He said, O son, fight a bit more. Soon you will be reunited with your grandfather Muhammad. He will quench your thirst. You will never be thirsty. Then there was a moment when Ali al-Akbar calls out to his father, فَنَادَى يَا أَبَتَا عَلَيْكَ السَّلَامُ هَذَا جَدِّي يُقْرِئُكَ السَّلَامُ. Oh father, رسول الله ويقول لك, and he is saying, oh Hussein, we are waiting for you. Come towards us faster. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Ali al-Akbar. Ya Hussein, 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 Hussein louder, Ya Hussein, 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 Hussein. So the Latmiya that we recite, the words, the response is, O Ali Akbar of Hussein. So inshallah, we'll all read together. O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Hussein, O Ali Akbar of Hussein. Louder, louder. Brothers, I don't hear anything this side. Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Akbar Hussein, O Ali Akbar Hussein, O Lion of Karbala, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Lion of Karbala, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O hope of the camps, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O reflection of Mustafa, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Hussein, O friends of Hussein, O Ali of Hussein, ya dearest friend of Hussein, louder, louder, dearest friend of Hussein, O Ali Akbar Hussein, radiant moon of Hussein, brothers, it has to be louder, radiant moon of Hussein, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O race of the Hashemiyun, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O chief of the Haydariyun, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O kindness of Fatimiyun, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, O Ali Akbar of Hussein, Hussein's pride, O Ali of Hussein, Haydar's strength you provide, O Ali of Hussein, O brave one of Karbala, stand, stand, hope of the tents, O Ali Hussein, Mustafa's mirror sent, O Ali, louder, louder, O breath of Hussein, O Ali Akbar Hussein, beloved and bright, O Ali Hussein, Hussein's moonlit night, O Ali Hussein, Hussein's pride, O Ali Hussein, Haydar's strength you provide, O Ali, stand, Badr of the Hashemiyun, O Ali the leader of the Haydariyun, O Ali Hussein, Haydar's strength you provide, O Ali Hussein, O brave one of Karbala, hope of the tents, Mustafa's mirror sent, son of the earth and sky, skies. Oh Ali Akbar Hussein, oh Ali Akbar Hussein, oh Ali Akbar Hussein, oh brave one of Karbala, Akbar of Hussein, hope of the tens. Oh Ali Akbar Hussein, Mustafa's mere stands. Oh Ali Akbar Hussein, son of the earth and the skies. Oh Ali Akbar Hussein, oh Hussein side. Oh Ali Akbar Hussein, Haida, strength you provide. Oh Ali Akbar Hussein, 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 oh Ali Akbar Hussein. علي الأكبر دخيلك، 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 دخيلك، علي الأكبر دخيلك،
علي أكبر دخيلك.
فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف، فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف، فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف. All together. فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف، فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف. ولدي علي، 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 ولدي علي. فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف، فقطعوه بالسيوف إربان إرباف. ولدي علي، ولدي علي، ولدي علي، ولدي علي. علي الأكبر دخيلك، علي الأكبر دخيلك، علي الأكبر دخيلك، علي الأكبر دخيلك، علي أكبر دخيلك. وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش louder louder بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء، وعطش بكربلاء. وصلى الله على وصلى الله على الباكين على الحسين، حسين. One more time. وصلى الله على الباكين على الحسين، حسين. أبد والله يا زهراء ما ننسى حسينا، أبد والله يا زهراء ما ننسى حسينا، أبد والله يا زهراء ما ننسى حسينا، أبد والله يا زهراء ما ننسى حسينا. الله الله حسين وين بالسيوف مقطعينه، الله الله حسين وين بالسيوف مقطعينه، الله الله حسين وين بالسيوف مقطعينه، الله الله حسين وين بالسيوف مقطعينه. ماجورة يا زهراء ماجور يا حيدر علي، ماجورة يا زهراء ماجور يا ماجورة يا زهراء ماجور يا ماجورة يا خيا ماجور يا حيدر علي، ماجورة يا خيا ماجور يا حيدر علي، ماجور يا ماجور يا حيدر علي ماجورة يا زهراء ماجور يا حيدر علي ماجورة يا خيام ماجور يا حيدر علي ماجورة بالمصاب ماجور يا حيدر علي ماجورة بالمصاب ماجور يا حيدر علي ماجورة بالمصاب ماجور يا حيدر علي بقية الله العجل بقية الله العجل 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 بقية الله العجل العجل louder 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 this is the end بقية الله العجل 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 بقية الله العجل العجل العجل. Let's conclude with the dua al-hujjah.
اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل
عليك الحجة ابن الحسن
صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا حافظا وإذا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك تهوى وتمتعه فيها تلف الرحمة يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take a break. We're going to do our wudu, and then we come back for the salat, inshallah. Afterwards, we have an English and Arabic lecture. And then, brothers, remember about the cards that I spoke to you about, the pledge cards. Please take one of those on your way out and give them to your parents, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum.